All right, let's try and go deep, huh? So this is actually a deck we played against a couple of times with the last deck that we were playing. The deep mechanic makes your cards bigger if there are 15 or fewer cards left in your deck. So this archetype is basically a self-mill, self-decking strategy, and we self-mill or self-deck with the toss mechanic. So the toss mechanic obliterates or gets rid of X non-champion cards from the bottom of your deck. So I really like that this explicitly doesn't get rid of your most powerful cards, your champions, and it explicitly gets rid of cards from the bottom of your deck, so they were cards that you were likely never going to draw anyways, so there's no feel bads like, oh, I got rid of a card that I was going to draw that could save me, because you were never going to draw the card that was on the bottom of your deck anyways. So there's Dredgers, which is actually, the voice lines on this card, I think are some of my favorite in the game. Really love them. He's got a number of funny things that he says. We have things like Thorny Toad to toss, Jettison, a little bit more expensive things like Salvage, and then in addition to Nautilus being a payoff for going deep and becoming a 13/13, we also have things like Abyssal Eye that becomes a 6/6 that's elusive when we're deep. We have things like Devour the Depths, which is a giant monster that kills something when it comes into play. So let's go ahead and pop on into some games with this and see how it goes. We have not played the deep since they nerfed Dredgers, so interested to see how it feels post update there. Correct, Kitty. Correct. I fragged them pretty quickly. All right. So, I think this champion's called Darius. Did I get the name right? Let's find out, huh? Is it Darius? I did. I got it right. I'm starting to learn all the names, chat. We've been playing for a little bit. So, Darius here has Overwhelm, and he levels up when the opponent's Nexus is low. So, likely an aggressive champion is a piece of top end here. So, I'm going to want to mulligan my more expensive things here, looking for some cheap interaction. Maokai is a little bit on the expensive side in terms of cost, but I think the saplings that he makes can help us stabilize the board, so I'm going to try and keep him here. Thorny Toad, one of our better cards to open up for sure here. Vile Feast is a great pickup, lets us kill their stuff. And actually, Dead Bloom Wanderer here is fantastic as well. Both of these are very good draws. We'll see if they open attacks here with their 1/1 or if they want to try and play something else out first.
I'll try anyone.
They decided to play something else out, so I get to go ahead and deploy my Thorny Toad here. So now their 1/1 can't attack.
Delicious.
Well, I can attack, but we get to block it. So this thing, whenever it survives damage, it deals 2 to our Nexus. So the value in blocking it here is pretty low. I'm gonna go ahead and just take the 3 here. Like if I'm blocking, I'm still taking 2. I agree, Taco. The amount of skill that is added to the game from being able to make intelligent mulliganing decisions before you've played any cards is just so incredible. It's one of my favorite aspects of Runeterra compared to games like Magic. That's very good. So they get to kill my 3/2, which has Lifesteal. So normally one of my better cards against an aggressive deck like this. Unfortunately down for the count now. Withering Whales, a great pickup potentially down the line. Deals 1 to all their board and then heals our Nexus for 3. Go ahead and get Maokai down here.
Be cut away.
My turn.
See if they have a transfusion here. Yeah, so this deals the damage to this and then makes this bigger. So they get to eat my thing, and they trigger this to deal 2. This does at least toss and gain us life when it dies, but we're definitely behind the 8 ball here. That is a phenomenal draw. So Maokai, whenever I play an ally, he tosses 2 and then he summons a thing, which is nice. Hey, Bamunicorn. Yeah, actually, if you enjoy my Runeterra content, I just updated my schedule. I'm going to be doing some daily Runeterra stuff in addition to daily Magic. So, I think the plan here is hook this. And then hopefully they block this here. And then next turn we get to Withering Wail, clean the board out. Although this hook might telegraph my play a little bit. Yeah, the one Omen Hawk getting both Crimson Disciples is really rough. Okay, so this requires this be alive in order for it to happen. So I can respond here by killing this, so this way they don't get to kill my lifelinker, which is nice. I'm not going to gain life this turn because this isn't going to deal damage to anything, but this will at least stay on the board to give me a chance to gain life with it next turn. This is still pretty far away from doing anything. I guess you could just play Devourer of the Depths. I could do this and eat this. I kind of like that. They have another transfusion I get blown out here, though. Playing this out is also nice because it makes me a 2-1, though, off of Maokai. If this happens, we're in a pretty reasonable spot. Okay. Sick. Stabilizing here.
No one's the wiser.
We're almost deep here. In fact, this jettison here... Oh, wait. If they would have transfused it, I could have jettisoned, right? This jettison makes me deep. Once we get to 15 cards.
They'll never see it coming.
It is Weapon of Mass Gaming. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. So this is a free block here.
Oh, this hurts.
Do I Nautilus jettison or do I just Withering Wail? I think I just wail and then attack. I can like wail, jettison, attack for a bunch. I think I want to prioritize gaining life here against their burn deck.
Run while you can.
I'm gonna offer to let them eat Maokai here, so that way if they eat Maokai, they don't kill my lifesteal unit. They also have the option to like trade with my 7/4 here, which I'm okay with. Yeah, I think the Maokai attack's pretty free, so I'm happy if they take that block. Yeah, like we're at 16, they have one card, this game's already over. You got me. Decimate me, daddy. Maokai's close to leveling, but that mostly doesn't matter. You want to wail during the attack. If you wail during the attack, they get a chance to block your stuff. So their things won't deal damage to your things, but they'll still block them. And if your things don't have overwhelm, you won't deal damage to them then. Is the key distinction there. It's a good start. I think the deep deck, assuming you mulligan appropriately, tends to have good matchups against the burn style decks. We have a lot of cards that gain life, as we showed that game. The mulliganing appropriately is key, though, because your deck definitely has a lot of cards that are clunky that if you have them in your opener, you're going to die before you get a chance to play them. Correct, yeah. And once we've taken over the game, we generally get deep. And hey, look, this is a good time to switch to this deck. Iona Noxious here likely means that they're another aggressive deck. And all of these cards sound great. Like, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan this Jettison, but like getting deep quickly sounds good. That's a great pickup.
Give me the stuff! Stuff make happy!
Stuff make happy. I feel like I really connect with Dredgers on an emotional level. He gets it, chat. Stuff make happy. Big fan of stuff.
Oh, I can't wait.
It did, yeah. This was nerfed in the most recent patch. I think I just pass here, so I bank this spell mana, and then I can grasp this next turn, right?
Delish.
This has Fearsome, so I can't block with my 1/1. I'm gonna do this now, so this way if they want a transfusion to save it, they have to kill this. Most unnecessary nerf. I actually think this nerf is pretty reasonable. I think making it so this card doesn't really trade up is a good change, because the way you should be able to beat this deck is by trying to get under it in a lot of situations.
Oh, this hurts.
Okay, I mean, they denied our drain there, but we still took their thing off the table, so I'm gonna call that a success. Yes, this card in addition to being an enabler, this card traded up too often. I agree with that assessment. Let's try and kill one of these, gain a little bit of life. Maybe it's wrong to do this because I have Withering Wail here. Could definitely see that. I think we're doing this and just drawing a card.
Please.
We're pretty far off of the deep, although I've got, 8 toss in. I guess we're not that far off, because we've got 8 toss in hand, and this is kind of toss on board. And ZZ, thank you for the third of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This Withering Wail's about to be super reasonable.
They picked the wrong road.
Full speed ahead.
These are elusive and this is fearsome, so none of my things can block here at the moment. Let's see what kind of pumps they got. They're killing this to save this. Makes sense. There's no reason to jettison right now because this is going to get banked to spell mana and this is a burst
They
spell.
don't break, they'll burn. The few for the many.
Yeah, I'm definitely not playing around denying this matchup. I think that's a card they're pretty unlikely to have.
Blood and guts, golden glory.
Are those my two favorite girls?
Reporting for duty.
And then this works out here that I waited to respond, so if this doesn't deal damage to this, it doesn't deal damage to me. So now I get to respond with Grasp of the Undying here, to not only kill their thing, but hopefully deny them this trigger as well. Hello? How are you? Are you having a good day with Mom? Declan picked out her bow.
He said yellow like a duck. She's going.
Let's switch the elusive here. For people that are new, this is my wife Christy and our little girl Haley. She 2 weeks yet? Week and a half? What day? Day were born 26? 12 days. Almost 2 weeks. You're very cute with your bow, little miss.
Routes closed.
I know she's being good, how it is. They're good kids. Speaking of...
Let none disturb my meditation.
Wife has informed me to alert her when Haley's on stream.
If they don't break, they'll burn.
I'm kind of surprised that they played this out before attacking, because they know about this. They know about this Abyssal Eye. So like by playing this out, they give me a chance to play this so I can block now. I wonder if they have something here to bounce this again.
It was just kidding about that. He sings to her.
I have produce older than your child. I really need to clean my fridge. They could have played the 2-3 last game. I don't recall, maybe? Good cute. Good cute. Your yellow bow and your pink pink. You're so good when you come on stream, little girl. All snuggled up.
She likes her burrito wrap.
The baby now has more Twitch views than most streamers. More Twitchers. Yeah. Good girl. So, Braum Sajani, Braum probably something that's a little bit more controlling. So, I think we're going to keep a hand that's a little bit more aggressive here, which is nice. The older children are louder. Some of the time. The kids usually vacate. The older kids usually vacate when Haley has something to say. Hey, kitty, thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. Right, so like opening on attacks here doesn't really do much since I only have a 1-4. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just play my 3-2 out. Haley's pretty chill most of the time. You only complain when you need stuff, right? That's how you let us know? You don't have words yet? That's true. She does tend to wear more bows for the streams than in her average life.
She's 12 days.
Rum is on the job.
So
Alert the
quick.
kitchen.
I mean, to be
We'll
fair,
need
she
more
did
food.
start bigger than the other two. Braum having a power is so good. So I could try and bait them here. We could play Jaw Hunters with the hope that they hook the Hunters and then we Vile Feast to kill this. They have 3 spell mana though, so they could have some counterplay there.
Blood and guts, golden
I
glory.
think I'm still gonna try that.
Let's show our friends the door. Good luck. Have fun.
See if we get punished here. So, if everything goes according to plan, I get a spider, they get a Poro. These trade. There's a transfusion. And I don't know, I just like don't really have anything anytime soon that lets me deal with this. So like hoping that they don't have it there feels like an okay line. I suppose I could attack with this, and if they block, try it. No, we're still 1 mana short of Diver at the moment. We're still 13 away from the deep. I think we're just deploying this and drawing a couple cards.
I'll try anyone once.
I feel like of the many ways you could describe my voice, soothing tends to not be one of them. That's because the battery died this time.
War Mason, reporting for duty. For the glory of Noxus.
Well, then just stay here.
What are your thoughts on not being able to go beyond the initial life total? I actually really like the aspect of not being able to go above 20 in this game. I think the fact that you can go above 20 in Magic creates a lot of feel-bad situations. And one of the things that I feel like Runeterra really hit on the head in terms of game design is the length of their games.
Let's take this outside.
I feel like they did a really good job of getting the game length like exactly about where I want it to be. So this is gonna lifesteal us back up to 19. If we put this here, we'll take 2 down to 17. This will put us back up to 20, and then we'll take hit here as well. I think I'm gonna go ahead and bump off here rather than take this 3. Yeah, one of the things we talk about in Magic a lot of the time is Magic games have a lot of what I refer to as garbage time where like one player is basically won, but the game doesn't actually end. And Runeterra doesn't really have that, which is fantastic. On the center right side of the screen, you should be able to disable the extension. Let's see. There's a chance this sea monster doesn't work here, because if they buff this up to 4 or more toughness and response, it doesn't work out. We got a take card out of them, which I feel like is kind of a success. I'm still a bunch of cards away from deep, so I can't just jettison in response here. So 9 away from deep. Needs to survive only 2 more damage to level up, so getting very close there.
Heard it all.
Yep. Oh, take card doesn't go away at end of turn. Okay. Wow, that's really good with Braum. Less good for us. Oh, that's like disgusting. How did Magic go today? It was a dumpster fire. I want to throw these away to free up space for Maokai on the bench and his things, but at the same time, I don't want to attack into Braum here and let him level up. But he's gonna get to level up next turn regardless. I don't really have great plays this turn. I guess we're just like starting on salvage and see where we go from there, because I don't wanna pass and like not use any of my mana. None of those are particularly helpful at killing Braum. If Braum's a thing people are doing, we might want 1 to 2 copies of did I just time out? I think I just timed out. We might want 1 to 2 copies of Vengeance. Yeah, Vengeance is the 7 mana kill a thing, right?
Make the Empire proud.
Look how we have grown!
We can use Sea Monster on Braum after combat. Yeah, maybe. We'll also be able to be deep next turn, so depending on what they do with this, might be able to get that going that way too.
Looking for some action, Ed?
Blood exists to be pumped, no?
Down by you? No, I can. Sure.
It is easy, see?
You're good, yep. 1 Vengeance and 1 Ruination. Oh, Ruination is the kill everything card, right? That doesn't seem like a terrible inclusion.
Time for talking to.
Something like that. So these are both deep. So these things are gonna turn into 7/7s here.
Let's show our friends the door.
In a second, we'll see how they hook with
Show
Braum.
me your best.
We're 3 cards off of deep. So I would like to kill their 3/3 because this makes units want to die whenever it takes a hit. Let's put this here. Throw this here. This will gain us some life. This will gain us some life. I can put this in front of the 2/2 so that way we can finish it with a deal 1. So get this in here to go deep. Sugar, we're going down. Bigger. You can see now here when I mouse over the eye post deep, it shows their thing dying and this living. I think this exchange is good for us. We're actually gaining 3 life on this exchange, assuming they don't have anything else. And if they do have something, I've got 3 different fast spells here to interact with them, depending on what they do and how they do it. It's cute creepy. Cute creepy is a good way to put it. I end up at 16 here. I think I'm still okay with this exchange, so I'm gonna hit okay again.
Look what you did.
Correct, yeah. And post combat we get to hopefully kill Braum with our other stuff here, which is great. Hard time getting his health from 2 to above 7. You think so? I agree. This Braum's going down. Dad told you? So... Oh, they can also deal damage to my things. They should not have picked that one, though. Now I get to Vile Feast them. Now this has to be another card here, so if my opponent would have chosen to kill one of their things here, yeah, they're conceding because they punted. They're probably losing the game too, but if they wouldn't have targeted their thing with 1 toughness there, their Braum would have survived. Hello. Yeah, we're up to silver 1. Moving on up in the world, little miss.
That's pretty great, huh?
Can you imagine being interactive, right? That's so weird. Another Braum deck. Maybe I should put a Vengeance in our deck so we can kill Braum with a removal spell. Probably don't want Withering Wail against a Braum deck. Don't really want this till later. I'll keep both of the Dead Blooms because not only do they apply pressure, but they give us early way to toss, which is nice. That's really not what we're looking for at this point. Will be useful later. Oh, I totally forgot to pick a different board and guy. Like, this is the blood board, yep. Your mommy knows which board's the blood board, baby girl. It is still, it's fine.
Oh, I can't
It's about
wait.
the status, though. I think we go ahead and Vile Feast this. So that way they don't have an extra thing to transfusion off of later. You promised like Culling Strike significantly. That makes sense. I think I have been Culling Strike more today than I have in all my other time playing. It's a good clean answer and Noxious to you, Braum.
I love a taste of the action.
No reason to block here. This would survive damage and still deal 2 to us, so might as well just take it and keep our fighter. Maokai is nice. Bring him out next turn. Tossing whales feels a little bit bad, but again, it's tossing from the bottom of our deck, so we weren't going to draw those anyways.
Remember the objectives. For the glory of Noxus.
Yep. Okay, now, with this played out, do I want to attack with this? I think the answer is yes, because with this, if they attack with both of these next turn after blocking this, I can put my 1/1 here and then Withering Wail to kill everything. You getting hungry, little miss?
Your path ends here.
Love you, baby girl.
Advent, come here, handsome.
Hello, dear. What have you
That
got
really
us
makes
into
my my Withering Wail kind of mediocre here. With this in mind, do I just want a Maokai now? And like get set up for next turn, just like take a hit this turn? I think that's the play. I think I just Maokai take a hit.
Corruption everywhere.
Delicious.
So now I can do this and this. Transfusion costs 2. We take 6, 7, 8. But then next turn I can Withering Wail.
Is that all?
Do I Wail now? Or do I Dead Bloom, make the 2/1 hook this, and then try and Wail next turn? Next turn, I'd have 3 spell mana banked, and then 6, so I'd have 9 total. So still can't double spell next turn. If I do this now and they transfusion, I basically just lose, right? I'm supposed to do this. It's close. If this works as planned, they lose 3 things and we gain 3. If they do that, they're not going to lose this, and we're only going to gain 1 here. And they get a thing here. Still pretty far off of the deep, don't really have. Having double atrocity, Terror of the Tides in hand is super awkward. And they have Prompt 2. So let's add a way to kill to our deck. 1 to 2 copies of cards to do that. What do we trim to fit in Vengeance? Is it just a Maokai? Maokai's a little bit clunky in multiples. Feel like he's probably the weakest link. That's a good point too. Yeah, trimming an Atrocity to fit Vengeance in too. I think I like that. Like sometimes you need to punk people out, but a lot of the time, it's not an effect that's super necessary. Would I rather have a second Vengeance, or would I rather have a Ruination? Which is more likely to make us happy here. I like that this is fast. Having a reset button could be kind of nice. We could just coward split it. It's either 1 and 1 or 2 Vengeance. with 2 Vengeance for now, just so we can actually have a chance to draw it. God, my emoticons were even pleb emoticons. It's so sad. Misfortune and Lucian here, so something aggressive for sure. Grasp sounds good against an aggro deck. The rest of these are a little bit slow and clunky. Let's mulligan them looking for cheaper cards. Jowl Hunters is okay. That's not really good though. We lost the last one because the music and emotes were subpar. Agreed. Vile Feast is a good pickup here. You like the Leviathan that gives you treasures? I have liked the Treasure Leviathan we've played in the past. I don't have a strong opinion on the Fearsome guy that's in this one, but the treasure guy has been good in the past.
I'm what nightmares fear.
Try and kill her here. So, this is Drain, so unfortunately we miss out on gaining life there, but... I think I'm just playing Jowl Hunters here and trying to keep the board small. We'll, like, play this and hook their 2-3.
Yeah, I'm
X1s. X1s are really bad against our deck, between the Vile Feasts and the Withering Whales.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good.
Might be wrong to play both at the same time. So again, if you're one of my Magic players who's checking out Runeterra today, thanks for dropping in. But one of the key things that's different about this game coming from Magic is that when you say okay to let the stack start resolving, the entire stack just immediately resolves. So by putting both my spells out there, I get to have both of them happen with one priority pass. Getting this down to 1 toughness is nice since we have the Withering Whale lined up in hand. An ideal sequence here for us is this 3-2 is going to get to bump off of this, and then the Withering Whale is going to clean them both up. Yeah, the fact that they had Bright Steel made the fact that I played both spells out very good. Revolving the whole stack is kind of rough. It's just different. I can see people who are used to playing with Magic the Gathering rules finding it unintuitive at first, but I think in large part, it's more than fine. I think in terms of smooth and fast digital gameplay, the way Runeterra does it allows the games to be a lot less clunky than Magic is digitally.
No prey, no pay.
While Arena did a really good job of bringing Magic to digital and it being fairly quick, it's still much slower than it otherwise could be. The way Runeterra does it removes some depth from Magic, from things you're used to in Magic, but it adds depth in other ways too. It makes plays possible that's not possible in Magic. Well, that wasn't great for us. You could say it was a blowout, chat. 11 cards off of deep here. I did not put Ruination in my deck. I ended up going with 2 copies of Vengeance. No, burst spells behave differently. Burst spells don't utilize the stack. So burst spells basically circumvent the stack altogether in this game. And you see here, we're just like kind of stuck with too many enablers in hand with nothing to really do with them. He's 8 away from the deep. Let's start with this and see what we get. Okay, that's actually a very good draw.
Alright, let's mess some folks up.
So we'll be deep next turn. This could be a situation where when they attack with their scouts like this actually gives us a chance to like play Maokai, which is nice. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Bim. Game's very good. Very well done. Let's salvage here to see if we can find a deal 1. We did not find a deal 1. Yikes.
Love ya.
Think we're dead yet. I can put out 1 blocker here, but then they get to attack. We get to chump here, and we take. Okay. And rude. Thank you for the 46 months of Prime. I appreciate it. Welcome back. It's a long time. Elise. Interesting. Don't want Atrocity in my opener. They're a control deck. Oh, is this the control deck with the 9-drop in it? We played against this earlier, right? It's the 9-drop that halves our life. Okay, so that means I want to try and mulligan to be aggressive, right? Which none of these cards do. Wanna try and get deep as soon as possible and run them down. Yep. Which again, just like the depth and strategy Runeterra offers because of its core game designs, you get to be like, okay, I know what they're doing, and now I get to mulligan and sequence accordingly, even though we haven't played any cards yet.
I follow you anywhere.
I know just the place.
No.
What exactly is the deep effect? The deep effect gives your units +3/+3 that have it, as long as you have 15 or fewer cards in your deck. So your monsters get bigger when you're in the deep. And the toss mechanic here obliterates non-champion cards to the bottom of your deck, so basically helps you get deep, or basically a self-mill deck if you're familiar with that type of archetype for Magic. Let's read. I'm gonna attack with this, even though they could bounce off of it with Elise, because I would like this to die, because it tosses and heals me when it dies. Yeah, not being able to toss champions is also excellent design, like most things in Runeterra.
I will tend this garden.
That's unfortunate.
Nas.
So, Elise is gonna level up now. She levels when they start the turn with 3 other spiders.
My true beauty is beneath the skin.
How much longer am I going for? Probably another 45 minutes to an hour or so. This is a decent pickup, because it triggers Maokai. And then my sapling can force their Queen Elise to block, which is nice.
I tire of waiting.
I don't know if I'm gonna dive into gauntlets today on stream or not. Usually when for people that are new to the stream and not familiar with what I do, a lot of the decks I play here on stream are decks that viewers send in. So usually I like to make sure I play decks for at least an hour, hour and a half or so to make sure people feel like they got their money's worth out of what they sent in for the support. I'm gonna attack with these, I'm pretty okay with them dying. They can't block anyways because they're fearsome. These spiders are fearsome because of Elise.
Take good care of my little ones.
I'm gonna go ahead and kill one of these spiders at this point. Am I? I'm just gonna jettison for now. We'll hold on to this for a second. I might just Withering Wail next turn, right? If we Withering Wail, there's no point in Vile Feasting this. Jaw Hunters is not bad. Gives us a way to take this off the table. My opponent's deck, for people that didn't see when we played against this archetype earlier, has a 9-drop that closes the game out very quickly. So we are ideally looking to get deep before that, try and run them down. If my opponent just says everything happens here, the whole board trades off, and I gain 4. They could have responses though here. They've got 9 mana and 5 cards in hand. Lure of the Deep in this deck. I'm not sure what that one does offhand, Huddleston. The deck list should be up on screen, by the way, via the overlay. Folks that are asking questions about what we're playing. It's like shooting my face to use their mana for the turn. That's a great draw. Jowl Huntering here for the sake of resource efficiency. It's a good sea monster here too. They have life gain dorks of their own. So, important note about attack sequencing here. I'm going to trade these here, and I want to hook this first, so that way the lifesteal only puts them to 20, because you can't go past 20 in this game. So, if I order this later in the combat, they gain 3, because these would hit first.
Give me the stuff! Stuff make happy!
The deck editor in Legends of Runeterra is the one piece of this application that desperately needs work. But at the same time, like, the current deck editor is functional, so, like, I understand if they want to prioritize getting other things done before they do that. We are one off of deep at the moment. I mean, they might just eat my spider. Sick. If they attack with their spiders too, this is really good for us, because this lets us go deep. Which then means our sea monster gets to eat life. Hey, Sale. Yeah, I've really been enjoying Runeterra. Actually, just updated my schedule for the next week. I'm going to be doing some Runeterra every day, in addition to doing some Magic every day, trying to diversify a little bit. If you enjoy my Runeterra content and my live time doesn't line up for you, you can also check out my YouTube channel. Basically, everything I stream gets archived up there. Yeah, pretty okay with this exchange. Like, putting me to 13, pretty whatever. I feel like we're in a pretty good spot here with these 2 Dorkos in hand.
Like a flower, Zun will bloom.
Deal 1 to all enemies. The Aminox is for each spell obliterated. Sure.
Ambition and time.
Wow, that animation is great. It says about every card that's played. No, I plan to mostly stick to deck submissions of the normal constructed Milo. Yeah, a couple of people also said that the first gauntlet is technically just unranked play. There's no modifiers, so we're just testing the system. Hey, Nautilus is gonna be a big boy here. Just like trying not to die.
One girl wrecking crew.
I'd rather just do this and eat their violence. Then we don't have to open an attack, so we can play Nautilus and start next turn. Opponent unable to get to their powerful top end before we're able to get deep and run them down there. Oh, Nautilus would have made the other monsters cheaper. You're right, I could have done both, right? I could have done Nautilus into that guy. Because the... His level up mode makes them cost 4 less. Yeah, I totally could have done both. Thanks for pointing that out. Without the leveled up text in front of me, I wasn't thinking about it. Do I have any plans to take standard Magic submissions? No. Magic standard format is, let me rephrase. Unless Magic standard format looks healthy and interesting after, let's say, 3 weeks, I don't really have an intention to touch it. I assume it could be some fun while people are still trying to figure things out, but eh. That's true. For the right amount of money, I'll play whatever you want. I think this hand's actually a keep. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan Jaw Hunters, but like, they're playing Noxious Ionia, so probably the Elusive's aggro deck. Abyssal Eye is normally a card you don't really want against aggro, but because it's elusive, it'll be able to block their elusives, which I think makes it a keep here. Perfect, Cody. Fantastic command. A++.
They'll never see me coming.
Yep.
Down from the trees.
Honestly, this is something we talked about today. Historic this morning was pretty frustrating when we started with Magic. Historic has a lot of the same problems Standard does since they banned Winota in Magic.
Hey, Krabby!
It's just like marginally more diverse, so it's slightly better. Good Vile Feast here while they're tapped out, so they can't give any tricks here. We get to kill this, then the Spiderling that gets made blocks the 2-1. Vile Feast was probably the best draw in our deck there, for being honest. And that Vile Feast is going to really stem the bleeding enough here that we can survive to get to our more expensive interaction here, which is great for us.
I walk my path alone.
Danger, hey.
Fast as wind, light as air.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, playing on the ladder on Magic Arena just doesn't emulate that experience. The ladder on Magic Arena encourages people to play good decks and play them okay. Just go ahead and trade these here, I think.
Hang on, Buzzball!
Hey.
They picked the wrong row.
They'll never see us coming.
Zero problems, really.
Hang on, Zern!
Getting close-ish to the deep.
The order rewards its faith.
This'll toss 3, this'll toss 3, this'll toss 2 when it dies eventually. This'll toss another 3, this'll get us... This only tosses 2, but it draws 2 cards as well, so it gets us 4 towards the deep.
Give me the stuff. Stuff make happy.
Stuff back happen. Do I want to attack here? No. I'm okay with any of these blocks
Sure
happening.
about that? My friend!
aggressive unit here, which is a little bit worrisome. We'll hopefully be able to kill that with Jaw Hunters next turn via challenge. Can a mod make a command explaining that gauntlets are just for testing? They aren't anything new at the moment.
Night falls.
Yeah, no problem, Sale. You're far from the first one to ask that question.
Blood and guts, golden glory.
Instep Hunters here, so we can open on attacks next turn. That's a great hit off of Jaw Hunters. This card's super impressive. Even in non-deep stat, it's been super reasonable for me. If this gets to connect, that's really good for us, getting back up to 15 here. Yeah, it's a super good number, Nimic. Pretty okay with these trades. Both end up at 15. It's technically unranked, but yeah, the actual games you're playing are no different than ranked. Decimate, you got me. I agree, Jurassic. Runeterra, from a fundamental design perspective, has really knocked it out of the park. And they've paired it with fantastic software to boot.
Quietly.
Yeah, Jaw Hunters always give you a sea monster. Always. Card's super reasonable and flexible. Who's ready to go deep, fam? I just open attacks here with Vengeance and Grasp in hand. I think I just prioritize being able to heal myself so I don't accidentally get burned out here. We're in a very dominating board position, so I think the only way we lose this is like if we let something happen by mistake, basically.
This one's trouble.
It's like annoying, but every card they play that doesn't burn us out is like good for us, I think.
Oh, I can't wait.
How?
Is that all?
I mean, yeah, that was a lot of reach. Told you, you just want to, like, make sure we don't get punked out by mistake, basically. There's just a good range of powerful things, right? Like having it's not like just aggro is good. It's not like just control is good. Just ramp is good. Yeah, and the aggro cards aren't just a bunch of lava spikes, right? Like you said, there's a good range and variety. Ezreal, Twisted Fate, bit of a brew here from the opponent. You want a Mulligan, Whale, and Nautilus. We'll keep these two because it looks like they could be controlling or aggressive with these champions. Not quite sure.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat.
Looks like something aggressive here.
The dead don't need riches.
It's my 1-4. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Probably playing some NAP cards, yeah. The question is, do I want to deploy Dead Bloom this turn, or do I want to play Maokai and then deploy, or do I want to save it till after I deploy Maokai?
You'll miss me.
Let's pass for now because this is elusive. If I do some deep text run Ruination to reset the board after they get behind. I actually consider putting a Ruination in here. I'm gonna pass here again because I assume they're gonna Mystic Shot something. But if they don't Mystic Shot something, I'm happy just banking some spell mana here. This Mystic Shot is fleeting that Israel creates.
Firing!
Now that they played that, let me go ahead and so. It's okay set up to deal with Ezreal. We've got two Grasp of the Undying here. We got Maokai to hook it down the line as well, which is nice.
I'm always up for a round or two.
Kill Ezreal here while they're tapped out. Oh, there's no funny this round. Twisted Fate levels up once he sees them draw 8 cards, so got a little bit before we gotta worry about him. There are a lot of cards off of the deep.
My friends, though.
Appreciate the opponent helping us get deep here.
I dealt with you Shadow Owls types before.
They are nothing like me.
Maokai making his hooky dorks are pretty good at dealing with Twisted Fate as well, which is nice. Ten more cards still were deep, chat. That being said, Twisted Fate here is getting dangerously close to level A. Elected to lead on Thorny Toad as opposed to Deadbloom Wanderer because this lets me grasp the Undying this year in case they try to level it up. Although I guess a lot of their leveling up is burst speed. Like so. He says before Twisted Fate levels.
I guess you can win them.
Twisted Fate leveling here is pretty bad for us. I get to kill this one, but like if they have another Twisted Fate, it'll still be leveled. So when you level up one champ, all the copies level up. You can always type !rank in chat to see my current rank.
Eyes open.
It really does never get old.
I'll burn for all I've done.
6 cards from the deep. So this tosses 3, this tosses 2, and then we end up deep. We have Vile Feast here to deal with that, which is great. So when we draw next turn, we'll go deep. The fact that they let on this implies they don't have another Twisted Fate, so that's nice.
Let's see all of it.
Set the hook!
Ezreal is elusive, so can't block him with any of these, unfortunately. Still 13 away from leveling up, so pretty far off. Ezreal, they haven't targeted any of my things with anything yet, so Ezreal's so infinitely away from leveling up. We're unfortunately 1 mana off of playing Sea Monster this turn. Yeah, I'm pretty okay with the 1/1's dying. I'm gonna hold this one back for now.
What's the rush, huh?
Say your farewells.
Maokai's getting close to leveling up here. When Maokai levels up, it obliterates everything except 4 non-champion cards in my opponent's deck. My opponent's also almost deep. This Abyssal looking a little scary here.
I don't miss.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that we are pretty far at this moment. Okay. So this makes Ezreal's health the same as his, so it does not reset.
Don't ask where it's from. Ask how much.
Ask how much. So if I play Jaw Hunters here.
Lacking courage.
Got another sea monster? Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Ship looks familiar.
Look at how scary my monsters are, chat. What kind of decks do I like playing? Aggressive decks with disruption is generally my favorite. My favorite decks that I've played in this are mostly Twisted Fate decks. So there's a Jinx Twisted Fate deck that we've played a bit of, as well as a Twisted Fate Fizz deck. Yeah, tempo decks. Yeah, we played Twisted Fizz on stream yesterday, and it was excellent. If you haven't seen that before, you can check out the replay up on my YouTube channel now. Pretty much everything I stream gets archived there. But yeah, tempo decks are my kink for sure. Definitely my favorite. Can we rank up? We're getting pretty close, right? I think we need to win next 2. Let me see any desk recommendations. I don't have any recommendations for things that are good, but I would recommend staying away from the brand Uplift. It's the desk that I currently have, and I've had the electronics in it are awful. Frequently have to reset it. Pre-pandemic, when we were gonna remodel the empty room in my basement, I was gonna buy a new desk after we did that, but I mean, that wasn't really a scoop, right? Like, we played a full game and they were about to die. So I don't really know that I would consider like the game we just played a scoop. We checked out Modern recently. I've not. Slither. Modern evolved into something that I really just like. Like, sets from the last 2 years of Magic are so pushed that, like, every format feels kinda samey in a way, because they're all just, like, playing the same busted cards from the last 2 years. And, like, playing Magic online is not particularly enjoyable. So, Zed Elusives, it looks like here. I'm gonna mulligan cards that aren't good against aggro. I think we keep Withering Wail. Yeah, they're all the same blue-green cards, right? They unbanned Stoneforge Mystic in Modern, and, like, it's still unplayable. Because, hey, that card was probably never playable. Wizards just doesn't know how to manage their formats like they've shown us again and again and again.
With me.
Quietly.
And someone else comment the game audio was loud earlier. Try to get down a little bit. I'm gonna hit pass here to see if they play out anything else.
Never see us coming.
That's never lucky. They could have some kind of combat trick here to save their things. They do not. Take the 2-for-1. Is that better? It's weird. I guess, like, people just didn't want to speak up. It's been at the same level it's been for a while. Someone else mentioned earlier that it was not balanced. And I was like, well, it's been like that for a while.
Do not fear the shrouded path.
It's okay. Better late than never, huh? Why only 2 Maokai? Because he's kind of clunky. I built a deck in Modern I love. I played Jeskai for 6+ years. I don't care that it's not tier 1, but now that it's just not playable at all, Modern caused my deck collapse, and I can keep playing them, but Modern design has destroyed what I love about Modern. And Modern design feels like it's destroyed what a lot of people loved about most of Magic the Gathering. As someone who's, like, played Magic for 20+ years, Yeah, not 20 plus, about 20 years. I started in 2001. The current Magic formats are the least I've ever enjoyed playing Magic. If playing Magic didn't literally pay my mortgage at the moment, I probably wouldn't be playing Magic. This game scratches the same itch or is a fundamentally different game experience? I think this game takes a lot of the good things that Magic has going for it and leaves the terrible things out, which is just fantastic. This game's done a really good job of reminding me of the things that I love playing card games for. I mean, like, and honestly, you know, something that we've talked about on stream a lot in the past is, you know, modern game design for Magic the Gathering from a game design perspective does a lot of things that if you tried to do those things today in the modern game design world, you would be laughed out of the room. Like, a lot of design decisions that Magic makes just aren't good design decisions, but you know, they were decided 25 years ago, so we can't change them now.
War Mason, reporting for duty. For the glory of Nox.
Damages here. We're almost deep. I'm gonna go ahead and just jettison here, I think, so that way we don't lose as much mana. Yeah, I'm talking about Magic's rule set. A lot of the things that Magic does in terms of like core game design features, just like aren't good game design by modern standards. They're like it does things that like we know aren't good game design. Magic has more non-games, games where one player basically doesn't get to play than basically any other game out there. Where are some examples? Just the number of non-games Magic has would be the biggest example. Yeah, lands are not a good design. Let's see if we can actually kill this here if they have a transfusion to destroy us. Yeah, most of the decks that we're playing on stream here are deck submissions from viewers that watch the stream. For a $25 tip, you'll get added to the deck queue on my website, just like I do for Magic stuff. I think I'm supposed to just Nautilus here and hope to untap and kill them. I think I'm just supposed to hope they don't kill me from 8 here. And that we can just pivot and kill them next turn. This makes both of these super cheap. That's pretty good. I have plenty of jump blockers here at least though, so we got that going for us. They at least don't have any elusive units out. Just literally gonna jump our way out. Just don't want to take any more damage from here. And then, in terms of being conservative, I think I'm supposed to just Sea Monster here. I think I Sea Monster, kill the Zed, and then this will make a thing with Maokai. Maokai can hook one. Oh, Maokai's also obliterating them here. That's good. What's my favorite resources from any of the games that you play? I think it's actually Runeterra. The Runeterra spell mana does an amazing job of fixing the tempo loss that's very common in card games. We're trying to fade double decimate here now.
Over here.
From a visual perspective, Runeterra is visually more appealing than any other digital card game out there, in my opinion. It's very well done. Small mistake here from them. They replayed the Z into my sap rolling hook. Unless they have some kind of trick to save it. Yeah, I think they just messed that up. Yeah, the resource system in Runeterra, both how you get resources on every player's turn, and how the spell mana works is great. Are you worried about deck building depth in Runeterra with colors not affecting the mana system? No, I don't think so. The fact that you can combine colors in Runeterra, I think, gives you a lot of deck building depth without needing that deck building depth in the resource system itself. So the big thing that hamstrings Hearthstone in terms of deck building depth is that there's neutral cards and you can't mix cards between classes. But for people that aren't familiar with Riot's roadmap, they're actually going to be adding more factions or colors to the game every 6 months. So there'll be more combinations and permutations of which colors you can combine in which ways as they add more colors into the game too. Let's try and win one more here and pop up into gold, huh? I think someone said there's like 13 or 14 League of Legends factions. Hey, Pray Waits, thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back, I appreciate it. Swain Teemo. Okay, bit of a brew here for our final boss. I'm gonna bottom the second Jaw Hunters. I'm gonna bottom the eye too. Just look for more cards that help me get deep. Terrible pickups. Not quite sure how aggressive they're going to be. Don't Teemo me on one, bro. It's explicitly what I asked you not to do, Strawberry Vibe. Well, we've got plenty of Jaw Hunters at least, so we'll hopefully try and hook this.
First big mission.
Looks like they're on the aggressive side with Boom Crew here as well, just like Swain at the top end of their aggro deck. Let's see if they open attacks here or not. Yep. Doesn't surprise me, this deals 2 when it hits us.
Better run.
Agree with that. People saying you need to use a deck tracker if you want to see the list of cards that have been played. Agree that that's not an appropriate solution.
Fresh is worth at least twice as much.
Alright, there's a sea monster. You get in the way of Teemo eventually, assuming they have something to kill this. I mean, they could have something to kill this, but I also don't have a better line. So the number one piece of advice I can give you to becoming a better card game player is don't play around things you can't beat. So you're right, my opponent's colors have plenty of ways to deal with my one health unit here, but this is what I have that can try and answer Teemo this turn, so I'm gonna try and answer Teemo with it.
If they don't break, they'll burn. For the glory of Noxus.
Sack the hooks!
Your path ends here.
Hey, look at that. And sometimes it just works. Sometimes the thing just works. You love to see it, chat. So I expect them to open on attacks next turn with the Boom Crew rookie before we can deploy any blockers. Excuse me. That's terrifying. The other Jowl Hunters will be useful at least, but we're taking a 6-ball here when they open attacks. Yikes.
Hope this works.
Hey yo, I say hey yo. Lifesteal come and buff our health. Do 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 do. What is in their hand? There's a mushroom that Timo hit us with earlier.
So small, but lacking courage.
It's an interesting card for their more aggressive deck to be playing.
I'll try anyone once.
Blood and guts, golden glory.
And I feel like we're in a very good spot, huh? Like, these trade off, we're both going to 15. And, like, we're pretty close to the deep. If you toss a card that had a mushroom on it, the mushroom's just gone.
Destination in sight.
Swain is not quite ready to level up yet. We are almost deep. Do I just play Nautilus here? And then I, like, jettison next turn and just, like, play a bunch of sea monsters? Sugar, we're going down. Goodbye, Felicia. Alright, you have a way to kill this, or are you very dead? Let's say $100, Z-Man. I'll do it in historic for half that, though. Oh, yeah. Come on. Come on, pass the turn. Come on, pass it back. Yep. Come to me. What, CD? Thank you for the 13 months. I appreciate that. The fizzy boat is S tier. It's really good. It's an S tier emote, champ. Get that. Get the loving embrace of the rank floor. We finished our quest. What a fitting place to end the stream. I appreciate everybody that hung out today. Y'all are great. If you're a new viewer and you enjoyed the content, make sure you tap the follow button before you sign off for the day. If you're not familiar with what I do here, I'm live almost every day throughout the week. You can see here, this is my personal website. You can find my schedule up here. I'm planning to do a little bit of Magic Arena into some Legends of Runeterra every single day. If my live schedule doesn't line up for you to be here on Twitch. There's also a videos tab up here that has Runeterra, where you can see this is a playlist from my YouTube channel where every single deck that I play on Runeterra gets cut up deck by deck and put up here, so it's very easy to watch just the videos that you care about. So feel free to give a sub on YouTube as well if you enjoy the stuff. Yeah, I'm enjoying Runeterra. I plan to keep playing this one. It's been a good time. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Everybody stay safe out there wherever you're at in this crazy world, and hopefully see some of y'all tomorrow. Peace, folks.